good friend of mine, and we've been shooting for like 2 years, and he's like, we've just had so much amazing photo shoots together, and I feel like we've both grown and evolved, me as a subject and him as the photographer. And it's just another outlet for me to express myself, and it's another art. Like I'm an artist, and that was just one of the art forms that I fell into. And it was crazy because I really love photography. I really love photography, but I also really love film, and they both coincide together, but they're also so very different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, and uh, sort of two questions here. What types of modeling have you done, and what are your modeling goals?
What was the first question? Sorry.
What types of modeling have you done, and what are your modeling goals?
So I've mostly just done like artistic modeling, where we'll just come up with a concept, or we'll come up with a costume, or I'll see something and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I wonder if we could recreate it and do it in a different landscape, or a different way. Or sometimes what I'm thinking about doing, and this is a goal that I've actually had, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to pursue it, because right now my priorities are jiu-jitsu and film. But I think it would be amazing. I love to write poetry, and a lot of times during the photo shoot, I would get inspiration for poetry, or vice versa. Like, I would write a poem and then I would get inspiration for a photo shoot to really encapsulate the type of mood and scene that I'm trying to set. And I feel like for my goals, like, I just want to keep modeling because it's really fun. And I don't believe the stereotype of like, well, I got told this a lot, where it was like, you can't be a woman fighter and a hot woman that like models. Like, you can't do both. And it's like, anybody can do anything. Like, you're not going to tell me what I can or can't do. So I feel like that was another reason why I wanted to, was because it's just so weird for that to be a thing, I guess. But I would love to write a poetry book and then to just create like photography and photo shoots that match up with the poetry that I write. I think that would be something that I really want to do, is publish a book that has modeling pictures in it, but also has photography in it and has my poetry in it. And that'll be something else that lives longer than I do.
Right on. Yeah, just like that, that flash what Gary Vee says about leaving your legacy.
Right.
Yeah, leave something for the future.
Something that my dad told me that always stuck with me was, you only die after the last person that knows your name and has a memory of you dies, which is reassuring, because it's like, wow, I could live forever then. If I really talk to so many people and like they live to be 100 years, I could live longer than just 100 years. And there's just hope in that, because everybody wants to feel like they belong and they matter, and that they're a part of this crazy thing that we call life, and they contribute, and that their existence does change everything. Everybody is so talented and intricate and unique, and society tries to push us to get crammed in a box. And it's like, that's what society was trying to do to me. It was like, no, you can't be a fighter and a model. Like, just pick one and just calm down. Like, stop trying to take up so much space. And it's like, no, if you don't like the space I'm taking up, then you can leave. But this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm going to do.
Right on. Um, yeah, I was trying to recall, I don't know, 20 some years ago, I was into writing poetry, and I learned quite a few from these. Which I was a little bit. And just so far as your writing, have you had anything published?
I don't have anything published yet, but I'm really excited because I feel like I was blocked. I couldn't write for a long time. And then when the pandemic happened and I was forced to kind of make myself slow down, and I wasn't able to work all the time, and I wasn't able to train jujitsu all the time, I was like, I felt like there was something deeper. I'm like, why do I have such a strict schedule? And then I was like, oh, it's because of this, this, and this. And it was like all these emotions and all these thoughts and so much going on. Like, everything that happened with George Floyd and just the whole world. There was so much going on. Like there's a movie called 2020 on Netflix, and it's pretty funny, and it's like a documentary about 2020, and they talk about how it was just like boom, 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 like one world event after another and another and another. And it was like writing was my only safe space because I could just sit down and encapsulate everything that I say. And I'm like, okay. And recently, actually, a new outlet that I've been finding is I've been writing poems, and then like I've been finding myself turning those poems into songs. And
Hmm.
like I don't think I'll ever like be like a musician or anything like that, but for me personally, like I feel like all of us were born to make art, and it's just becoming so uncommon for that now because you can't have an ego to do art, and people like to criticize their own selves and they don't see worth in what they do. But everybody has a different perception and a different perspective. So even if I write something and I'm like, this is terrible, I don't like it, somebody else might. So like just writing every day, like anything else, just doing it every day. And I'm hoping that I'll reach a point where I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm good. And I want to pitch scripts to Netflix. Like that short film that I just wrote. I wrote a short film, a storyboard, um, all that stuff. The short film is going to be the beginning of the movie. And then the end of the short film is going to be where the name of the movie starts and like the full movie starts. And I'm going to write it all down, but it's the process. It takes time. It's like you're pulling this story out of you, and it's coming at you from different directions, and you get inspiration from different people and different experiences. And it's like I just want to write something that only I can write because only I had these experiences, and I have lived the life that I have lived, so only I can spill the words that come from me and only me. And I'm really excited to see where this goes, and hopefully maybe down the line I can visit again in like a year or two, and we can go back and talk about where I was at then versus where I was at now. And you too, I mean, maybe you'll join that new jujitsu gym that was opening up that was just a random synchronicity, or maybe you'll do other things, write another book and have more tips for me. Like,
Yeah, that was trippy though, because it's
yeah,
like here I am, showing up to the laundromat, you know, taking my lawn there, and then bam, it's like I noticed right next door is a new jujitsu gym, and here I
yeah,
am talking to you on my show today, and I'm like,
yeah.
whoa, wait a minute here. Yeah, so that was like super trippy.
And I believe in synchronicities, and I feel like there definitely was a higher power that was sending me messages like keep going, keep going, keep going. Because I remember like I had been asking for a long time, like, should I stay at this job? I was like weighing out the pros and cons. I was like, okay, well, they have these benefits and this and that, but like they don't let me call in sick, and they don't do and they do this and they do that. And like the cons list was like this long, and the pros list was like this long. And I'm just sitting there like, oh man, I don't know what to do. And then when I got my blue belt, I had so many confirmations going up to that, like, you're good. Like, if you feel like this is the end of the road for you here, then keep going. But getting my blue belt really pushed me to do that because it was like symbolic for, okay, you passed this stage of your life. Like, here's this belt that you got, and you went through so much stuff while you were trying to get this belt in your personal life, and you still showed up and you still put in the time and you still fought and you fought hard, and it's worth it. Like, here, like, you got this. And it's like, wow, this, it was just almost a message from the universe for me that like I was elevating and I was reaching a new stage of life, and it was okay to move on, and it was okay for me to feel like I outgrew that workspace. And that's just really amazing to me that I'm doing things that I love that have the ability to also speak to me.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
oh, totally. Yeah. Um, and so I just have a little note written down here. Stuff hiking. I was just wondering if you've been up Tendias Peak.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. It's so
Right.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
because
actually one of the places I went to when I was working in early childhood development because I was doing summer camp for a while. And we went up to the top, and I remember like feeling so anxious, and then I went up to the top, and it's like, wow, like all of my problems are down there and they're that small, and I'm up here and I'm on top of the world, and like nothing matters, time doesn't matter, like I'm here in this moment and I'm alive, and this view is amazing and beautiful, and I live here. Like it was just, it's a huge perspective change, and it's symbolic for taking a step outside of yourself and outside of your problems and looking at it from an outside perspective and realizing they're not that bad. They're not going to overcome you. Like I'm on this giant mountain, you know?
Yeah,
I climbed up here. Like what it's just amazing. You have to try it. The tram is so fun too.
yeah,
Like if you're afraid of heights, it might not be that fun. But we took my uncle up and he's afraid of heights. He was like holding on to me for dear life the whole time.
yeah. It's like well, like I had sent you a message. I was up there at the top of Sandias Peak and I rode the tram back in 2017. I was on a road trip and stayed with a Facebook friend in Rio Rancho. And actually, as soon as I got to their house, she's like, "Okay, come on, get ready, let's go."
Yeah.
And it took me up to the top of Sandias Peak and hiked around up there a bit. And I even got a couple pictures of me sitting on the edge, of the mountain there. That was
Yeah.
super cool.
It's amazing, right? It's like it's incredible. It's breathtaking. It's like no matter how many times I go up there, I'm always taken back by the view and just we get so consumed in our own lives that we forget that there's so much more, you know, and I feel like that really what else is going to put it into perspective as much as that?
Yeah,
Going up to the mountains and looking at the city you live in.
yeah, totally. Yeah, I can't say as I've ever, no, I've never been to Albuquerque, but I've been there to Rio Rancho. Um, it's right near there, so whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, getting about that time to wrap up here. But I just want to thank you so very, very much for being on the Zoom call and coming on my show today, Noelle. And
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is an
yeah,
amazing experience, and I'm so glad that I was able to be a chatterbox for an hour, pretty much.
yeah, definitely. It was phenomenal, just to get your story, about your filmmaking and your jujitsu and modeling. Yeah, you're amazing, and just keep at it. Whatever you're doing, keep at it because
Thank you. You're
yeah.
same to you. Same to
Oh,
you.
thank you.
And
Yeah.
I need to look at your autobiography now and
Okay.
find out where to
Okay.
buy
Cool.
it.
I'll get you the link.
Okay.
Um, but yeah. Um, oh, and before we go, just to let everyone know, in case they want to contact you, what's your contact?
So my name on Instagram is just Noelle Cepeda, which is NoelleCepeda, and that's probably the most active app that I have is Instagram. Facebook is the same thing, same name.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, I'll make sure and tag you in the caption on this video. But, um, yeah, just want to thank you very, very much for coming on the show today and uh, providing myself and all our viewers and listeners with more positive vibes. And
I know I love that name too. That's so great.
yeah, well, I don't know. I was trying to think of a name, and I'm like, okay, positivity and gratitude and podcast. Wait, positive vibes. Totally
Yeah,
positive vibes. Yeah, I'll
that's
go with
really
that.
good.
But yeah, I just want to thank you and right on. We'll be in contact since we're connected on social media now. So right
Yeah, for sure.
on.
All right, well, until next time.
Yeah, definitely. And you have a phenomenal day. And to all our viewers and listeners, um, stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and have a phenomenal day and a phenomenal week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Ciao.